See him in an hour.
Or is it?
He started walking towards the women's restroom. I was like, no.
Well,
You don't stick
What
up
is
the
this,
women's
North
restroom.
Carolina? Hi, we're live.
That's messed up.
All right, so hey everybody watching the live stream. We are live.
Hey, now your camera's on you.
Hey,
I
are we
was giving
live?
them that behind the scenes.
Not
Is it
live.
real live?
Kind of
Wait,
live.
they're
Just
live,
kinda live.
but we're live,
Wait.
and you're live, and I'm alive.
Can they hear me?
They should be able to hear you, yeah.
Okay, I think I heard myself in the background, so I'm pretty sure you can hear me.
Yep.
Chat room, not if you can hear me.
Yes,
Oh.
chat room, if you have any audio issues or you can't, well, you should be able to see us because Hangouts. If you have any audio issues, let us know.
Yes, you should
Have
be able
any
to
audio
hear
issues. Keep it to
everybody.
yourself.
I don't want to hear you.
I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear your.
We all day
dumb
figuring out where
Oh,
these
lots of
stupid
nods.
cables
People
were.
are nodding.
No, okay,
Okay, good. Nods are good.
good.
Yay, we have nods.
We have the
It's a very
power.
naughty
Oh, I
audience.
left my colloquy logged in at home. I'm like, why am I ace detector, which is my fallback.
Oh. You need to get yourself a bouncer.
Yeah, I need to bounce myself.
Mm-hmm.
So you're controlling the camera.
You could next sort of ghost yourself. Yeah, yeah.
I've done that before. It's fine.
Excuse me.
I have that effect on people.
When I see chat, I ghost myself.
Oh God.
By the way, this audio sounds really great.
Oh,
Does it?
All
Awesome.
power
It
to
does.
the Hack
thank
5.
you.
It sounds
Yeah,
it
that was
sounds
all me.
terrific.
So you're welcome.
It's all Shannon.
It was
She made
all
the
me.
studio
You're
pretty.
welcome.
Yay,
I did.
Shannon.
I just cleaned it. Darren helped me set up all the audio and video stuff because I don't have all that memorized yet.
Django did some,
Oh,
she wrangled some cables.
Our intern was going to be here, but just called out. Bummer. 'Cause this would have been really
man.
awesome. Oh
This
well.
would have been.
Mm-hmm.
You guys
Oh,
have an intern?
We
Is she gonna start
for the
coming in
first
now?
time ever. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, she just graduated on Tuesday.
Oh, I'm so excited about that.
8th grade graduation.
We're
is
going to bust
amazing.
some hacker misconceptions with that guy, Darren Kitchen, and Shannon on DTNS, dailytechnewsshow.com.
Was that a Snapchat?
It was. How can you tell? Did I have my Snapchat voice on?
It
You
is.
have to
I
get
felt.
in
I felt
a
it.
second before it ends.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
always going to cut off last second anyway.
Those Snapchats, man. Do you understand them? I just don't know about
Kids
the
in the
Snapchats.
Snapchats.
Kids in their Snapchats.
I'm still kind of not understanding Snapchat.
I think you do a fine job with it.
Yeah, I just put everything in my story.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yep.
I occasionally snap someone directly. I snapped Joe directly earlier this week.
I feel it's a little bit different because you don't want to snap someone who doesn't want your snaps. So I never,
Right.
you know.
No, you don't want to blast a bunch of people.
I took a snap for Justin, and I put it on my story accidentally.
Oh,
But it was just about playing pinball.
that's snap danger, isn't
Yeah.
it? Oh, yeah. No, I saw that one. I
Yeah.
thought it was meant to be like,
No,
hey,
no, 'cause we're like-
everybody, Justin, like in front of the crowd kind of thing. It totally worked. I didn't even think that was an accident.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Justin.
Justin has puppets pulling your strings.
You were right. They were 17. I mean,
Roger, he's got control. Good. Everything's good. I started butt.
Did you get both of these?
yeah, they're in
columns
the.
there?
Yeah, I
That's
missed her too.
Okay, great.
Pulling the string.
We're
I may
ending
just be
on
like,
Apparel.
no, I can't handle the convenience.
If at any point it rings, just tell them to call back.
It's using our payphone. Quit using our payphone, man.
Hey,
you gotta
it's
pay
free.
for that.
It's free.
No, it's collect.
Oh, I just switched.
No, that was me.
Okay.
Yep.
I definitely felt
I saw a
myself
really funny meme that reminded me of being back in like middle school,
Yeah.
and it was if you ever had that moment when you go to the movies and you pick up a payphone and it says like you have a collect call from, and then you say, "Mom, pick me up from the movies."
Oh, I used to get a guy request songs on the radio that way.
Nice.
Really?
It was like, you have a collect call from Aerosmith, Sweet Emotion for the Joker at
Yes.
Carlisle Penitentiary. Would you like to accept the charges? No, thank
So
you.
funny. The first time that ever
That's
happened,
awesome.
I was like, I don't know what to do. And the person on the collect call thing was like, you have to tell them whether or not you want to pay for it. And I was like, I'm 12. I don't know. And my mom was like, "It's okay."
I have 10 cents.
Do I want to pay for this? I have no idea.
I was scared I was gonna get in trouble. I was like, I don't know what
It's
to
funny
do,
that you
Mom.
should
What should I
mention
do?
In Australia, I had to call my bank because I'm like, oh, right, I should probably tell them I'm in
Right.
Australia. So I called the number on the card, and the phone number answers, if this is a collect call, we accept the charges.
Oh,
I
really?
was like, what?
That's crazy.
Yeah, who's calling their
Weird.
bank collect?
Good customer service, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, all right.
So which bank is that?
You know what was fun is, you know the SIT tones?
Uh-huh.
The number you have dialed.
We're sorry.
The reason why those tones exist was to tell the operator on the other end if you're dialing long distance. So if like I'm in Bell Atlantic territory and you're in Pacific Bell territory,
Right.
and so I'm calling you, those tones tell Bell Atlantic that, hey, don't charge him for this call because he dialed the wrong number, and that would be a real pain to get a long distance
Right.
charge for a wrong number,
Which, by the way,
which just means
charging
when I call
long
you-
distance was often just as silly as charging for bandwidth use.
which is just as silly as charging for a text.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's fantastic. So anyway, the point is, all you do is you answer the phone, doo-doo-doo. Hey, what's up,
And then
dude?
you wouldn't get.
Yeah, hey, dude, it just saved you. Yeah.
Wow. Tips for you people time traveling to
There
the
you go.
1990s.
Yeah. Hey, check it out. Look, Tom.
Oh, wow. Where'd you get that?
I don't know. I don't know where I got it. I got
The Merit Militia.
Merit Militia. Yeah.
That's,
I have no clue where I got it,
I
but
know
I
that
had
they
it
were
at home,
going
and I was like,
around-
oh, I want one.
I think I got one
God.
from Sebastian.
yeah, like Zebgon's like,
We have these for the set for next week's show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that envelope. I've seen
good
that.
envelope.
Pots of
Those
gold.
were going around. God,
Pots
how
of
long ago
gold.
was
2014?
yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
Ancient history.
End of 2013.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that where they came from?
Yeah.
Oh.
The
I have
great-
no
the great
clue who gave me one, but I was like,
Schism.
I call it,
Taught.
the MM now stands for Meg Merritt,
I'm
which
married.
is my sister's name before she got married. It's not even her name now.
That's cute.
So again, if you're time traveling to before my sister got married,
You'll know her name.
yeah, you'll know her name. You know her initials.
Hey, Chanserve.
Just shout outs to the chat room. Hey, I see Chan
Oh,
Serve
thanks.
and
Nick Serve.
Showbot and
What's up, guys? How's
the,
everybody
the,
doing?
the IRC nursery room.
That dates you, Tom. That's Romper Room.
Romper Room. Thank you. Yeah.
That dates me. Then I know what the hell you're talking about.
Aha! The dater has been dated.
The studio has never been cleaner. Like, I'm really excited about this.
No,
It's
it's.
so organized.
That's why we brought Django in to stink it up.
Wait, you drove up?
So nice.
We drove to San Jose yesterday
Oh, wow.
for Father's Day. Brought both the dogs, and then I drove up with Django. Well, Django did most of the driving from San Jose.
Sure, yeah.
She's a good driver.
She's an excellent driver.
Okay. Oh, so that's why you guys are up here for
Yeah.
the weekend is for.
Because Eileen's sister is going to a wedding, which meant Eileen's dad would have been alone on Father's Day. So that's not
When
gonna
is
happen.
Father's Day? Is that tomorrow?
It's Sunday.
Oh, it's Sunday. Okay.
Where's the tweet to retweet? Can't find it. I don't know the link.
Oh, Ace to Text. Oh, DiamondClub.tv.
Right.
Just use the search button.
I know how the internet.
Oh, I don't know what you're asking. I'm just throwing out answers.
Doesn't work that way, Tom.
I'm looking for the tweet that you made,
Yeah, I made
and
one.
you haven't made one.
I did it. 1:15. It should have gone out.
No, 14 minutes ago was the last thing I saw, and it was.
Yeah, would have been about 14 minutes ago.
You both
Oh.
say about.
Yes.
You're not reading. You need to read it, Darren.
Well, I was expecting a video to be embedded.
Oh yeah, no.
Boom.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Hey.
All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
Chickens.
Let's see if this works.
Make the podcast.
My fellow citizens of the internet, there is nothing to fear but fear itself. So go show fear you mean business. Go to dailytechnewsshow.com/support and show them you're not interested in fear. You're interested in the future.
This is the Daily Tech News for Friday, June 17th, 2016. I'm Tom Merritt in the Hack 5 warehouse itself. Yay! Darren, Kale, Shannon, Morse, thank you for hosting.
Thank you so much.
It's fantastic. You guys have an amazing system here. I feel a little overwhelmed.
Right?
That took some work.
It's just like
Lights
the good old days.
and mics,
Right?
and my logo up.
Yeah.
And
I did
the
that.
only thing that we're missing is some chairs to do the obligatory chair dance at the end of the show.
standing desks prohibit.
go.
You just get standing dance, which is fine.
Yeah, that's
That's
what
fine
we'll have
too.
to. So stay tuned for the end of the show for standing dance.
So
And
AJ,
we have an audience.
yeah,
So
Justin Robert Young in the audience, Theater Monkey in the audience, Django the dog in the audience. But she
so
doesn't.
we can
she
have a
didn't make any
dance
noise.
party.
And
at
you
the
know,
end
it
of the
wouldn't
show.
be a Friday without.
Len Peralta is there on the Hangout, illustrating the show from Cleveland.
Yes, Cavs in 7.
It's a happy Cleveland these days, isn't it?
It is right now, but still tentative, very tentative.
Very tentative.
Happy.
So let's, without further ado, get right into the headlines. Or top stories. The Beijing Intellectual Property Bureau ordered Apple to stop sales of the iPhone 6 and 6S, ruling that the iPhone models infringed on an exterior design patent held by Shenzhen Bali for its 100C smartphone. Chinese law will allow Apple to appeal the ruling to a higher court. Wall Street Journal reported several mobile phone stores in the city had already stopped selling the iPhone 6, because we're not talking about the S, the 6S or the 6S Plus, we're talking about the 6 and the 6 Plus, and a bunch of them stopped selling it a few months ago. So exterior design, not interior design.
Yeah.
So funny.
China respecting intellectual property
Oh,
law,
that's
which
so
a lot of
good.
people don't think they do.
No, they care.
Yeah.
They really do. I mean, I feel like maybe they noticed that it has, let's see, a big screen,
Yeah, that's
a
important.
charging port,
Yes.
Right.
Rounded edges.
That's
Oh,
good
yeah.
one.
Microphone
I have
port
one
at the
right here.
moment.
headphone jack. Yeah,
Yeah.
headphone jacks are good. Maybe like a power button and volume rockers.
Yeah.
Unlike all those other phones.
You know, I feel like if I don't know the merits of the case very well, but if in fact this company had put their trademark or trade dress registered before Apple got into the Chinese market, they could have a case.
Yeah. It'd only be fair. It
That's
doesn't
just-
matter how
It's
big
exactly
you
what
are,
Apple went
how
after
your
Samsung
lawyers
for,
are.
right?
Yeah.
Right. But like, unlike software stuff where it's easy to just like, change a few lines of code, recompile. This is
Well,
the exterior design. What are they going to do? You know what it is? It means we'll get a Chinese bumper. They'll just put a bumper on it and call it a day.
right. The Google Play Store started rolling out today to Asus Chromebook Flip users, just them, and you still have to have the developer channel of Chrome OS installed. That allows Chrome OS to run native Android apps, though. Google's Francois Beaufort says more devices will follow very soon. Verge reports Acer Chromebook R11, C738T, and the 2015 Chromebook Pixel are expected to get the update later this month. So we heard about this at Google I/O.
This is exciting.
And yeah, this is pretty cool. You're going to be able to run Android apps natively, right?
That's
like,
awesome.
Like not emulated, not
Right.
virtualized, and it makes Chrome OS that much more useful.
I now see why you got so excited about this, because that is really cool. Do you use Chrome OS right now?
So I don't, but I have in the past, and I have very frequently recommended it to people who are like, "Hey, I want something like secure, like quote unquote secure, like
Yeah.
knowing your
Little
threat
locked
actor."
down.
Yeah, like you can do the same. Obviously, if you want to put the work into it, a Windows box can be secure. A Linux box can obviously be secure if you're putting
Yeah.
the work into it. But otherwise, if you want some company to take care of you, it's like, well, get a Mac or get a Chromebook, and the difference in price there is vast. So a lot of times the pushback when I get, when I recommend that as advice, I get people saying like, "That's really cool. I'd love to." But I don't want to live only in the cloud, and I need apps and stuff like that. So apps coming to that ecosystem is huge. But more and more since I started using the Surface, it's got me thinking like, wow, this is a fantastic tablet, except Windows is such a clunky user experience. So now I'm running Android in a VM to make this,
Right.
a good experience. But it's like cross-platform everything. I
Yes.
know that everybody wants to
Yes.
be the platform, but I think in a long enough timeline, like the whole idea of like, oh, I got to write my app for this OS and that OS and this OS, I think that's going to go away eventually.
Well, and with the snaps, not Snapchat, but the snaps that Ubuntu
Yes.
has made available through encouraging the community. It's not something Canonical owns. You have way more possibilities for cross-platform in the Linux ecosystem in general.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
who wouldn't love to see snaps come to Chrome OS? There's no reason it couldn't.
There is, yes, exactly, because it's Unix under the hood. And as we see more and more of Microsoft embracing Linux and Bash coming to Windows, I mean, I don't
You
know.
could see
we've
it
got
in
these-
Windows, you could see it in Chrome OS, you
Yeah.
could see it in OS 10. There's no
It's on
reason.
the horizon.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
won't do it in OS 10, but you could. Here's another cool experimental feature from Mozilla. Mozilla, by the way, rolling out a Snap version of Firefox. They're rolling out a new experimental feature for themselves called Container Tabs. In its nightly build of Firefox yesterday, Container Tabs let you select between 4 predetermined identities: work, home, banking, and shopping. And each of those keeps its own distinct cookies, caches, and storage, so you can remain logged into multiple accounts in the same browser, but they won't affect each other. You won't have your bank cookie in with the rest of your browsing in those questionable sites. Each container must be manually assigned to each tab, but Mozilla hopes to make this contextual in future builds. In their blog post for the nightly build, Mozilla reminds users that they can still be fingerprinted across containers, like IP address, your OS. User agents are not altered. It's still the browser. So it's not a privacy mode necessarily, but it
Yeah.
is allowing you to keep some stuff, like I use Privacy Badger.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes I wish I had a tab that's like, here's where I want to read news stories from sites that don't work well with Privacy Badger. That'd be kind of cool.
I absolutely love this, and mine is specifically because oftentimes I find myself needing to log into multiple Gmail accounts in separate tabs, and it gets really confusing if you're trying to do that on just one machine, or you might have to use separate machines if it's enough accounts. So I love the fact that I would be able to do this all in one browser as opposed to having separate browsers for everything.
Chrome has had for a while now the ability to have multiple users,
Sure.
so you can have.
Users, yeah.
And it's cute. You get the little cupcake or the awesome guy and things like that. So props to them. What I find funny here is that we're talking about Firefox having this ability. Firefox, the browser that you still have, because it's how you've been juggling multiple accounts.
Right, exactly. Like Firefox is my
Exactly.
cord killer's account. That's literally, that's the, I have a browser for every account.
Yeah, it's like Mozilla realizing oh, wow, a lot of people keep us around or have.
Let's make it easier.
Yeah, all right.
And this would be simultaneously, right?
Yeah, within the same
That's so awesome.
browser
I like
instance, I suppose. Yeah.
I might have to flip to
Good
Firefox.
stuff.
Oh, look at you.
I know.
You heard it here first.
Big
Breaking
news.
news. All right, Sony is demonstrating the PlayStation VR headset at 30 select Best Buy and GameStop locations in advance of its autumn release. Sony says the demos will be available eventually in 300 stores starting June 24th. However, it will only be available for a few hours each day and not every day at every location. The PlayStation VR is available for pre-order. It has been for months now, but they just announced the shipping date earlier this week for October 13th.
You know, I've seen the PlayStation VR at multiple locations now. I saw it in Japan, I saw it at CES. I've seen it so many times. But every time I do, there's either a really long line or I'm just like, I don't know, I'll try it eventually. So I just don't do it. I feel like now is the time that I should actually start gaining
Go
some
hit a
interest in
GameSpot
actually doing
or
it.
GameStop. Don't
Yeah.
hit GameSpot.
Yeah.
Well, you could. They might let you in.
The thing that I'm finding most interesting about just VR in general and the way that it's coming to consumers is that it has been just experimental and open from the start.
Yeah.
You know, everything from the initial like Cardboard is a perfect example of that, or the original Oculus dev kits, and as dev kits more so than consumer products. This is a really interesting industry being born out of proof of concept stuff being marketed towards people. I mean, we're in that early
Yeah.
weird Google Glass kind of what is this phase, and it's being sold to people as that.
Yeah. And I like the idea of the console VR that allows me to try it in a different setting. So HTC Vive Oculus Rift, they're tied to my PC, which for me is a downstairs machine
Yeah.
where I can have room for the Vive, first of all.
But the
PlayStation's
console-
upstairs on the regular TV, so now
Exactly.
I could have a VR experience there.
Yeah.
Ars Technica's John Brodkin reports on Ammon, Idaho's Municipal Open Access Network. This is really interesting. Multiple ISPs can now offer service to customers over the city-owned fiber, and residents can sign up and switch ISPs almost instantly just by visiting a city-operated website. they don't need to change their equipment. In fact, the network gives you a gateway. The gateway has 4 ports. You even have regular people have the ability to assign a different ISP to each port if they want. So you could have one for your work office coming off of one port, and then have one for the kids that's maybe a slower bandwidth or something like that. A pilot program of 12 homes just finished, so it isn't widespread yet. But construction is beginning for 200 more homes, and eventually they want to hook up all 4,500. Small town. All businesses have already been hooked up, though, and they did it without raising taxes.
Wow.
Basically,
Hey.
Quest was going to charge them thousands of dollars to run fiber into the city government,
Yeah.
and they looked at it and they're like, well, wait a minute. We could pay a little bit more, like $24,000 instead of $8,000, but in 3 years we'll make money instead of continuing to pay Quest.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what's happening.
That's awesome. I love this. This is really interesting because it's akin to, say, all of the DSL operators that may be using Ma Bell copper at the end of the day. So similar in that regards, but what I'm trying to figure out here is I love that they're like, okay, let's open it up, and then anybody that wants to offer service over this medium can. However, if that's the case, if they're all a shared line, well, then how are they going to compete? Because you can't really compete on price if you're all using the same infrastructure as easily. And you would think then, okay, cool, they'll compete on service, but at least me as a consumer, that's the last thing I want any ISP to compete on is like, oh, you get access to our awesome Usenet servers? Like what?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
move my bits.
Yeah. Well, but to me, that's what it competes on that. Whereas if one company says, well, we're going to start putting bandwidth caps, you just go to that website, like, great, let me find the company that does it.
Okay, now, don't get me wrong. I love that there's potential for competition there. It just what boggles my mind is, okay, how are they going to compete?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to compete by fooling people. Like,
Well, bundled telephone service.
yeah, I mean, speed and price, right? And whether there's
Like
bandwidth
they've
limits
always
or
done.
not. Yeah. Here's a scenario I think could happen. One ISP says, we're going to only charge you $5 a month for gigabit service
Okay.
because it's fiber, but you have a bandwidth cap of 10 megabytes. And if you go over it, you pay a little more. And then another service is like, screw that, we're going to charge you $20 a month, but there's no bandwidth cap. And so people will say, you know what, I don't really use that much internet. I'm going to go for the $5 a month because it's cheaper. And that ISP is able to charge that lower amount because they're going to make it up when people go over it
Yeah.
once in a while.
All right, so maybe it's actually the perfect scenario because you have like everybody on an equal playing field as far as the infrastructure is concerned. So I'd love to see how this shakes up because it's like
Yeah.
a little tiny bubble of 4,500. Really? This
Well,
is an
maybe
interesting-
somebody from Sweden can write in because apparently they've been doing it this way for years already.
I don't know. Working in Sweden, you think it's going to work here?
Yeah, nothing like that.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
I do love their fish. Google announced it is bumping up the payouts to its Android Vulnerability Rewards program. After June 1st, vulnerability reports with proof of concept will pay out 33% more. A report with proof of concept, CTS test, or patch gets you 50% more. The reward for a remote or proximal kernel exploit is now $30,000, up from $20,000. A remote exploit chain or exploits that compromise a trust zone or verified boot, now $50,000, up from $30,000. Interested parties can check out the Android Security Reward Program rules for full details. For those who didn't understand the words there, you do understand the 20,000 is now 30,000.
Yeah.
It's basically bug bounty, like, hey, find better vulnerabilities, we're going to pay you more.
Well, that's the thing is you have this tennis match going between the bad guys and the good guys, and this is happening online forever with security and privacy and with hacking in general. So it's really important for companies to notice and recognize the fact that they need to pay out for these, and they need to pay out a lot of money to get hackers more motivated to actually help them as opposed to just finding these vulnerabilities and selling them to the highest bidder.
I was about to say, because they got to compete in the free market,
Yeah.
and when you could potentially, $1 million for that iPhone unlock to the
Yeah,
FBI,
right.
like you got to up your game.
Or that, like, ancient LinkedIn password dump
Yeah.
that was,
That's a totally separate issue. Yes,
it is.
It is.
But, like, somebody was like, hey, I can get some money for this from
Yeah.
somebody.
Well, there's funny that you should mention that. There's an awesome talk by Troy Hunt that I just saw at OSCERT talking about just this exact thing, where he dives into the industry of it and the buying and selling of it. And as it turns out, what happens is immediately when there's a leak, the price is really high because very few people have it. But as it kind of disseminates through the underground, the IRCs and chat
It
room,
drops
you know,
real fast.
There's no
it starts-
DRM on it.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
all it takes is one person to just go ahead and make it public, and then just just
It plummets.
plummets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which it's like, so if you want to make yourself less vulnerable or valuable, just put your stuff out there and just make sure it's like
then
really
you're-
good crypto.
Yeah, and then your password
Yeah.
isn't worth much.
Yeah, like, oh,
It's
my
hashed, it's
stuff's already
salted,
leaked. Yeah,
you know,
here's
but it's there.
Yes, right? Everybody just leak your own stuff using bcrypt.
Pre-leaked
Yes.
bcrypt passwords.
Yeah, 4096 bit.
That's like small batch artisan leaks.
Ooh, I like that. We should start crafting this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes a lot more sense for companies to actually do this for hackers. It makes a lot more sense to actually be secure and to have people
Yes.
on your side as opposed to having people fighting you constantly.
Well, Google's been at the forefront of this and kind of
They have,
changed the
yeah.
whole concept of the industry, because I say industry because hacking is now an industry.
Yeah, it's
and
not, they weren't the first to do bug bounties,
No.
but they were the
No,
biggest.
they weren't. And
But
people
this is
make
a
their
thing
livings
now.
now off
Yeah.
bug bounties.
Absolutely. Finally, Quartz reports that it is now possible to buy vegetables grown indoor in New Jersey for the same price as those grown outdoors in California, thanks to the falling price of LEDs. This is real. I love this story. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I get to say arugula on a tech show. Arrow Farms is shipping arugula, kale, and spinach grown inside a Newark, New Jersey nightclub. A 5-ounce box cost you $3.99, which is the same price as a box of greens from Earthbound in California, grown out in the fields here. The Department of Energy says the price of LEDs has fallen 90% since 2010 and should keep falling in the years to come. LED efficiency and lifetime have nearly doubled as well. That's going to continue to go up. I love.
I have a question.
Yeah, yeah.
Are we sure that they're growing like kale in a nightclub?
Well, they are
sure it's
growing kale in a
I've
nightclub.
got a friend that grows.
We don't know if that's their exclusive crop.
with
That is a
LEDs?
fair question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, what's going to happen is it's going to change the questions that you have to ask now when
Yeah.
you are getting that kale salad in Portland, which is, was this made with free range and fair trade LEDs?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Recycled LEDs.
exactly.
Could I visit the nightclub where this arugula was more? No, but it also, like, I love this story because we often miss, like, LEDs. I remember Buzz Out Loud days, we would complain about, like, oh, LEDs are too costly and they're banning me
Yeah,
from buying these
they were
other
expensive.
these other light bulbs now. And it's not only that the prices have come so low that what you would not want to buy an LED, but it's also making all of these other things that you wouldn't have anticipated would come to pass.
I'm realizing the most important part about this story. You know, the LED is very efficient with the electricity that they're given. The electricity, how is this harnessed? If it was used with solar, then that means that we are harnessing the power of the sun with monocrystalline cells, storing it in a battery bank, and then transmitting it with LEDs to grow crops. Think about that
Using
for a
the
moment.
power of the sun to grow crops.
It's very circular, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes, this could be a thing.
I doubt it.
I think we're onto something, people.
Hey, thanks to all those who participate in our subreddit. There's a place to go and submit stories and vote on them. And it's a great place to just catch up on some interesting stuff, too. There's always cool things being submitted in there. Go check it out, dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. Let's see who was in there today that we can throw out a thanks to. Actually, TM204 put the Quartz story about the LEDs in there, and it was one of the top vote getters, so that's one of the reasons we did it. Also, Loki Roberts in there today, Motang, PC Guy 88, Rack and Rico is in there. That's kind of a newer name. So thanks to everybody who supports us there, and that's a look at the top stories.
Oh, man.
All right, so for our main discussion today, I asked Darren about talking about hacker misconceptions, how people, they fear the wrong things. For years we've been trying to fight a losing battle of, like, a hacker is not a bad guy, a cracker may be a bad guy, but a hacker could be a bad guy or a good guy. I think we may have lost that battle, unfortunately.
We lost that a while ago.
But-
Nobody's saying cracker
But
in that context.
there is still good hacking and bad hacking and,
Yes.
and misconceptions about what hacking is. And I figure who better to talk about it than the hosts of Hack 5, So you broke down some misconceptions, and we also have examples from hacker movies to help us understand them.
Exactly, and this is like homework. It's like reading material. It's like, when you're done with this podcast, go ahead and
We're giving you homework.
get these movies on the Netflix.
Yeah, movie homework.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be fun, and then you'll understand your fellow hacker better, because hackers are like, wizards, kind of like witches, right? And if they float, then you burn them.
Right.
So I find it difficult many times when I'm explaining to people. I'm like, people are like, what do you do? I'm like, well, I'm a hacker, and it's like, wait. So
Are you hacking me right now?
Oh, see, I get a different perception whenever I say like, I'm a hacker, kind of, and they're just like, you're not a hacker. That's my perception.
Right. That's for a different.
Can you watch my laptop for me? Thanks.
Exactly.
Sure.
You get that, right?
I got that at
we both
Starbucks
did.
the other day.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
So some of the I would say that the three biggest misconceptions about hacker and hacker culture would be the difficulty of hacking, and like what's capable, what's not, the intent of hackers, and then of course the apparel. So
The apparel.
Let's start with the difficulty.
all right, so as far as difficulty, there's no magic hack button. It just doesn't exist. That's not how we do this. And moreover, security research takes months and months to just of digging and experimenting, and basically to develop a proof of concept of an exploit against a vulnerability may take months and months. And unless it's a lot of hard work, is all I'm trying to say. And as far as like what people's main thought of like, you hack my account, it's like, no, unless you're like have a secret question that's what your birthday is or where you went to high school, Sarah Palin, you're not going to be getting like an online brute force attack of your account. That's what a lot of people think of, like, okay, you're going to hammer at my Facebook, and it's like, no, actually, you're not that interesting.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem with that. And
So
then,
what you're saying is, while there are easy hacks out there, those are the easy hacks to avoid if you pay attention. Like, don't answer with obvious questions, use strong passwords. Other hacks are difficult.
Yeah.
ridiculously, which is why the Googles of the world are paying $50,000 for these things. So, it's not like you're just like, in the movies where you're just like, boom, 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 jamming on hacker.
But regular people get hacked all the time.
Yeah.
Why is
well,
that?
okay, so here's the thing.
Social engineering.
Unless you, people do, because accounts get leaked, and that's because like a major site gets compromised, and then you didn't use good passwords, and it was easy to reverse the hash. I would say that unless you are an engineer working for a big industry, you're most likely not a target. Although I say that by really what I mean is, if you're an engineer for a major industry, you're a target.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate the side door of going through. Engineers have access to the important good stuff, and if you can get them at home, then you can get into
Absolutely.
the office.
And it doesn't, it could even be like, me and you, or our parents, or our brothers and sisters, or anybody could really be a target in my eyes. I mean, I used to work as a bank teller.
They get to you.
Exactly. I used to work as a bank teller. I wasn't a special person there or anything. I was just, giving out money. But the fact that I worked at that company,
Yeah.
you think it is, and then you start dealing with cash every day, and you're like, this isn't mine. It's just pieces of paper, so it's not that important. But everyone ends up being a target in some way or fashion, and a lot of it depends on who your friends are, or who is in your network, or who your colleagues are, or where you work.
What's the movie example of difficulty?
Swordfish. There's a terrible movie. Don't watch it.
Well, also they make it look really exciting in Swordfish, even though they're not doing.
Well, that's the other thing is it isn't sexy, and it isn't exciting, and it's really just months of sitting around in your pajamas eating cornflakes, and actually I wouldn't even.
Lucky Charms.
Yes,
in
Lucky
my
Charms.
case.
I would say another major misconception about hackers is the intent.
Right.
Right? Because
They want to steal our things. They're
Yes.
coming for me, right?
Yes.
That's their intent, is to just ruin my life, right?
Absolutely.
Is that right?
No.
Why not?
No,
What?
because
No.
No, because hackers are like the doozers or dozers from. Is that how you pronounce it?
From
Dozers?
Ghostbusters?
No, from
Doozers?
Doozers.
Oh,
the Fraggle
right,
Rock.
from Fraggle Rock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just like making things, right?
Dozer was the god.
Hackers are the ones making the world a better place by breaking the infrastructure so that it
Wait,
can be
now,
rebuilt
how
better.
is breaking things making things better? That
Because then you find out where the
They
weakness is.
find a vulnerability, and they express that vulnerability either to the company itself, and hopefully they get a bug bounty, or they release it publicly if they don't get an answer from the company to fix it.
but here's the real question. Like, people hear that. I think most people know that those people exist. But they think, well, those are the exceptions. Those are very few.
But that's the thing is most people that I know and most people that I see at conventions and most people that I've met online are the people that are interested in doing good in
Yeah.
the world with their smarts, with their ability to do some kind of penetration testing or hacking. So I don't find a lot of bad people.
Why is it we always think of the hackers are the bad people? I mean,
'Cause
because
of Hollywood?
there are some, right?
Yeah.
But is it just the Hollywood?
I think it's because of Hollywood and because of the media. Because a lot of times what we find in the media is all they portray is the bad people.
Why don't we ever have any hacker good? Are there any hacker good movies, like White Hat hacker
Well,
movies?
it's
There's
like
Hackers
a
Are People
anti-hero
Too, which
kinda
was a
thing.
documentary.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good
Yeah.
one.
That's real
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, it's actually then it
Oh, no.
exposes a lot more.
Well, it doesn't get as many
boringness of
people
it.
watching it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I guess War Games, kind of.
Or
Yeah.
the net.
The Net.
The net.
Yes, the net.
Yeah.
That's a great example.
Just don't
I
click
love
the
the net,
pi symbol.
by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your life will get turned upside down, and then you'll end up in
You know,
weird
the
chat
Net
rooms.
isn't as bad as I remember.
It's pretty.
The
Is
bad.
net
it?
was
It's pretty
awesome.
bad, though.
Pretty bad, but it's got Sandra Bullock, so watch it.
All right.
Exactly, it's awesome.
Ransomware. I'll use it as an example of when talking about intent. Ransomware and other schemes like that to
Yeah.
extract money
That's
from you.
bad intent. That's an example.
Yeah,
of
that
people
is
out
bad
there.
intent. That's something that criminals do using hacking techniques. That's
Okay.
not hackers do.
So wait
Yeah.
a minute. You're saying that the people who do ransomware aren't hackers?
No, I'm saying that hackers are
necessarily.
actually legitimate security researchers who are making tons of money by selling exploits, by finding vulnerabilities and taking them to the company and say, hey, here's
need to
where
fix
things are
this.
broken.
I
Right.
think one problem that we have right now is we haven't found a really good word to define the bad hackers.
Right.
We only use hackers for that huge general definition of everybody, the good guys and the bad guys, and we need a specific word just for the baddies. And black hat hacker doesn't necessarily work.
Yeah, White Hat and Black Hat are pretty good, but no one uses them.
Yeah,
That's
So
the
exactly.
it's like you're hacker curious, right? Because that's what hacking really
Well,
is.
unfortunately, and I hate to say this because Hack5 has built its brand on the word, as have many others, but hacker is kind of a lost cause in the
You
mainstream
know what?
populace's mind.
You're absolutely right. Nobody is going to call people that build model train sets hackers. I think it is lost.
Well, should,
Well, 'cause
should
that's
there
the
be
origin of
should
the
there be
name.
a good? Is it? Oh, I see what you
Right,
did.
MIT, the model
But,
train
but
society.
they don't. Everybody uses hacker to mean bad. So should we give up and just come up with a good
No.
name?
Well, this is why security
Absolutely
researcher is
not.
used a lot, and that's a little bit better. I like that security research has that kind of
many
like
syllables.
academic, exactly.
Same with
SecRes.
penetration tester. It's a lot of syllables, and some people look at that with kind of a negative
And
What if you
connotation.
take security expert and just merge it into one word? Never mind.
No,
That was taken.
kind of is. Might start using that. I think I should just emphasize though that the real hacking is really just about curiosity, and it's about learning for the sake of learning. So if you're an autodidact, then you may be a hacker. If you love just the idea of learning the ins and outs of something to the point where you understand it and then can make a novel use of that technology that wasn't previously thought of, then
Yeah.
that in of its core is the essence of hacking.
So, Mr. Robot, good example
Yes,
of a hacker story.
I like that one.
With none of them are perfect, but would you say it's the best one we've gotten so far? No.
As far as
Maybe?
Shannon will have to
Legitimacy?
speak on my behalf.
All
As
right.
far as legitimacy, I would say yes, because they use a lot of real-world hacking techniques, and they use a lot of real-world products that are used with security penetration testers. But as far as his morals, I would say those are a little iffy.
Right, they had to make him a dark character to make
Exactly.
it interesting.
Yeah.
He's not a security expert.
Yeah.
You know what? You're actually going to have to catch me up to speed because I have yet to power through this series.
Oh, it's so good.
That
Okay.
said, maybe you can explain to me. I'll give you some of the ideas of mainstream misconceptions of hackers. I'm going to talk about the apparel, and you'll tell me if Mr. Robot fits
Okay,
these
right.
attributes. Because obviously, despite what you may have seen in the graphics from most articles about hacking, black hoodie,
Yeah, he wears a black hoodie.
balaclava.
Does he have I don't think he has a balaclava.
No balaclava. Okay, what about
I might be misremembering.
does he type with sunglasses on?
Yeah, well, not inside.
Okay,
No one uses
sunglasses
sign.
inside.
Yeah, he does wear sunglasses.
Typing with gloves on.
No, I don't think he did gloves.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And not
That's a
even just
thing?
boxing gloves, because
Isotoners?
I don't know.
It's a thing.
I would say though.
So he's got the black hoodie.
Okay, so the black hoodie is well. You know what? I will actually give the black hoodie that actually is a mark of the. If you go to DEF CON, you'll see the black hoodie and the
Yeah,
black T-shirt
and he has the
are
sticker,
the
the black
unofficial
top, too.
uniform. That's the other thing, is the stickered laptop makes your kernel compile faster. Most
that right?
people don't realize
It
this,
actually
but
does.
it's true.
Little tip.
It helps.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it pulls the compilation towards the center of the computer
Yep.
with all that
True.
stickiness.
And moreover, as far as the apparel of your computer, not just stickered up, but your command prompt obviously has to be green on a black background.
Yes, and flashing.
Flash, yes.
Always flashing.
Although I will say you can do white on a black background.
I've seen that. I think Mr. Robot actually uses real command prompts.
They do.
They do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Yep.
Like they avoided that whole swordfish thing where yeah, 30 point. I'm glad to see actually hacker movies and TV shows recently have gotten rid of the 30-point font for
That's
everything.
because they've been hiring actual hackers
Actual
to
people
help them.
who know what they do.
Yeah, they've been hiring people that I know personally to work with them behind the scenes to actually get it right.
All right.
Yeah.
Which is
Also,
really
you know what? Pro
important.
tip: if you're running a Windows box, color space A in the command prompt. Boom. Get your green and black on.
There you go.
Color space A.
Do
now
it.
you're a hacker, and then just do tree and loop
Yeah.
that. Neon rollerblades, by the way, optional as it turns out in the hacker
Oh,
community.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
So I can sell those.
Yeah, you'll get around a little faster with them, but that's
Yeah.
just about it.
Also, we don't all live in mom's basement.
Yeah.
That's a thing. We don't all live in mom's basement. I
Right.
mean, if you're
Some people in the attic.
16 or 17 and you're learning how to be a security professional, that's one thing. But if you're much older, generally you don't.
Generally, you make a really good salary and
Like-
either own or rent a really
Generally,
nice
you're
house.
sending your vulnerabilities into
Yeah.
Google and getting payouts,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you can buy your own rent.
Yeah, in all actuality, like, just picture an IT guy, and that's a hacker.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
pretty
IT
much
guys
it.
are
All
hackers. They
hackers.
have to be.
Exactly.
In
In
order
fact,
to do their jobs.
What's the difference between hacking and systems administration is just a different
It's the
mindset.
title.
Yeah, exactly. Red team,
Yeah.
blue team, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it.
So the only movie that I thought we might get to that we haven't yet is Sneakers. What does Sneakers teach us about
Sneakers is a
hacking?
great example of social engineering working. And actually, that's the majority of like some of the like when we go to major conferences, you know, DEF CON, ShmooCon, DerbyCon, things like that. I love like the hallway stories where names are changed to protect the innocent of some of the clients and such, but just that the social engineering aspect and how frequently that works and how that's actually like the go-to. So if anything, like hacking is social.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting
The most dangerous
because
parts are.
generally us as a community are not like getting out there and meeting people on a day-to-day basis. But we are when we go to conventions because it's kind of like a family coming together.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. Now you have some movies to watch, so go watch those movies. And let's get to our pick of the day, which is a mini documentary from Eva Luna Marini. She was actually a student of Jenny Josephson
Oh,
at the New York
wow.
Film Academy in Los Angeles. Yes, New York Film Academy in Los Angeles. It happens. And she did a mini doc on Patreon. She interviewed Jack Conte. She interviewed myself and a couple other Patreon users. And you can go watch it on Vimeo. It's at vimeo.com. Go check it out. I'll have the link in the show notes at dailytechnewsshow.com.
Awesome.
It's really well done. And I think it's 7-8 minutes long.
Okay.
But it really gets the point across of why Jack started it, why it continues to work, and what people are using it for. So,
Yeah.
well done. Send your picks to us, folks. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. And you can find more picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. Let's get to our message of the day from Jamie in Vancouver, who says, I've been driving public transit buses, probably is what he would say, professionally for the last 10 years. And in my experience, when you're talking on the phone or doing anything other than focusing on what is right in front of you, you go into what I like to refer to as default mode. This is where your habits you've accrued over the years take over and you're not consciously driving. As a professional driver, my default mode is sometimes safer than when I'm actually fully consciously driving. I have a phone on the bus for when transit communications needs to get a hold of me, and while talking to them, I can go several blocks without remembering anything of what I was doing because I was driving completely in default mode. It's a little hard to wrap your mind around, but I feel like when people are talking on the phone while driving, it means their bad habits have accrued over the years and have taken over, and that's why they're the worst drivers than when they're looking forward and actually paying attention. So I know a lot of people want to jump on this and like, it's a horrible bus driver because he said he wasn't paying attention and can't remember.
But we all do it.
Yeah,
being
yes,
honest.
exactly. I did a 6-hour
Yeah.
drive from LA to San Jose yesterday. There are definitely stretches where I was in default mode. I know exactly what he's talking about. So yes, make your criticisms if you must, but I'm more intrigued with this idea of someone who has been trained to be a driver is going to be better able to handle that distraction. Do you think people could be trained to be good cell phone users in cars?
I think you have to start really young if you're going to do that. Like when
Show
somebody
me.
first gets their first car. But even then, like,
Like Little
is
League,
it
the
smart
Little
to
League of
even
bus
train
drivers?
them to be
Well,
on
that's the
phones?
obvious reaction is like, well, let's not do that. Like, why bother?
Train them to never be on the phones.
the opposite side of it is, but people are going to do it anyway. They're
Yeah.
going
Oh,
to
that's a good
use
point.
their phones in their cars, no matter how many laws we pass and endanger other people. And self-driving cars are farther off than you think.
Yeah.
So wouldn't it make
So,
sense?
so you're saying like breathing? I don't think about breathing. I just do it, right? That default mode where I'm like, whoa, how did I even get here? And it's like the last several miles
I
disappeared.
mean, it's not exactly the same because breathing happens at a different part of your brain, I think.
Well, how do we get driving into that part of the brain?
I don't think you can get it into that part of
With
the brain, but how do you get it as close as possible
Yeah.
is an intriguing question to me. This may be a horrible idea. Like, I'm not advocating for it, but I'm intrigued by the concept.
Driving with a Bluetooth from birth.
We don't
Yes.
drive from birth. Well, I guess we drive from birth now. No,
Yeah, baby drivers.
baby drivers.
Good work.
We need booster seats for
I don't
that.
know. Is this a horrible idea? Let us know. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. Thank you guys so much. I cannot thank you enough
Thank
for
you.
letting me into your home here, going to all the work to set this up and make this happen. It was
Oh, it's a
awesome.
pleasure. We've been inspired by you and the work you've done for decades, dude. So decades. Wow.
True story, bro.
A decade.
It actually is literally decades.
Yeah,
now,
it has been a
because
decade.
it's more than 10
Oh,
years.
we're right. It's been more than one.
Like-
So we're coming on. We're in decade 2.
Right, yeah.
Huh.
HAK5.org, though, to find more about real hacking.
Oh, you can
And
see
what
this
people
set
do.
transform. And when I say transform, I mean this logo
Becomes a
goes
Hack
from-
Five logo.
becomes Hack Five.
Anything coming up that you want to let folks know about?
What did we just talk about? Oh, hacking travel
oh,
tips for
yeah.
packing.
Yeah, this is a really fun one. So if you travel a lot and you'd love to see how Shannon and I travel with tech.
Like beyond the
other
just
travel
like I
hacks.
roll up my shirts.
Oh, way beyond that.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have
I
like
gotta
all
watch
sorts
this.
of tips
It's
for
a
the
lot of
best
gear
tech
review,
that we
too.
bring with us. So we go over a lot of photography tech that we decide to bring with us on our trips and how we differ with our packing styles too. Not just because I'm a girl and I bring makeup, but like our actual technology that we bring with us, it varies from person to person. So it's pretty interesting to see like what kind of technology we bring and how we packed it all into just carry-ons.
HAK5.org. Hack your travel. Len Peralta, you've been busily trying to illustrate our concept of what is happening in the world of hacking. What do you
Yes.
got for us?
Yes, well, I tried to hit all the notes here with what I think hackers look like from the movies, and I remember watching a lot of bad hacker movies as well growing up. But this one I felt I would actually watch this one. It's called Hackers University, not Hackers University 1, Hackers University 2, starring our good friends Shannon, Morse, and Darren Kitchen. You can kind of see if you go to the video, or if you look on my online store, you'll be able to see. Darren's got a cool little hacking tool that is emitting some sort of electrical thing.
Looks like a sonic screwdriver.
Yeah, something like that. Whatever it does, I'm sure that he waves it and gets all the information in that little round pink ball that he's holding on to there. And the other thing is really cool. It looks like a movie poster, obviously. What I really like is that the tagline is "Relax, it's a Unix system," which of course is from Jurassic
I love it.
Park.
It's so awesome.
And they're magna cum laude in hacking. So yeah. So there you go.
I appreciate the headband.
Oh, you're welcome.
Good luck to you. In fact, I'd say we're just gonna, every year at DEF CON we like to have a theme. I think we're just gonna roll with this one.
Hackers University. I say this is your cosplay, Darren and
Here we
Shannon.
go. Cosplay as Len's interpretation.
I also love that it's Hackers University, too.
Yeah.
Oh, because Hackers University 1 was so good. So.
So good they had to make a
That was
second.
awesome, Len.
That is
Well,
fantastic.
Just like Andrew Dice Clay.
I don't know, I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there are rollerblades underneath.
Hey! Andrew Hack Clay. Andrew Dice Conference. LenPeraltaStore.com, obviously, if you want to take a look at it or
Yes.
buy a copy of it as well. Right, Len?
That's right, LenPeraltaStore.com. You can also get this as a digital file if you go to my Patreon, patreon.com/Len. Back at the DTNS lover level, you'll get this and all the other images I draw every Friday as a high-res print that you can then print out on your own. So there you go.
Hey, the reason I had the ability to pay for gas to drive up here was because of you. Thank you for supporting the show. If you are already supporting the show, if you're not and you're willing to help us get bigger and better, patreon.com/DTNS. Get in there and just pledge $1 a month to keep us going. $5 a month gets you a few extra perks like the treasure chest and early access to new stuff as it comes out. We even have a co-executive producer level if you want to get a business card that says you're a producer of the show, or the analyst level that gets you into our Slack. That's patreon.com/DTNS. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. You can give us a call, 512-59-DAILY. That's 593-2459. Catch the show live Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern at diamondclub.tv and alphageekmedia.com. Visit our website, dailytechnewsshow.com. Back on Monday with Ms. Veronica Belmont. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Was that good, Django? Was it good?
He was
Django's
so
like-
good, he was like losing breath. He was
Hi,
so
honey.
excited.
Django's like, it's a great run through. Take 2. Let's go.
Good job.
That
Can
was
you hear me?
Len, I love your picture.
Can you hear me, Tom?
That picture's so
No,
good.
can't.
Yes, hey,
Can
Roger.
any-
2 right now.
Okay. Just so you know, for some reason, the last quarter of the show, something happened to your audio. It got real low compared to Len's and the.
Okay, I'll take a listen to it.
Right.
Well, fresh batteries.
Show about titles while you're fiddling.
Yes.
Yeah, can you guys pick a title while I listen to this?
Yes.
All right. So for Darren and Shannon, growing Kale in a nightclub, which I
I
like.
feel like Kale needs to be in quotes for that to work.
Kale.
But you can't put quotes in a file name.
Competition by deception. Move my bits,